live. Button's been pressed. It's going green, which is fantastic. Welcome, everyone, to the 10th episode of the Xbox Live Party Podcast. So we're now in double figures. So we'll get some little trumpets and stuff like da-da-da. My name's Ash, and as always, I'm joined by Fabio, my good friend, as well as our awesome new friends. We've got KY Bob, Slayer exclusive, and the Ginner with us at the moment, and we should be joined by Alucard shortly, but he's a bit AFK. We've lost him, but I'm assuming he'll be here soon. How are you all, gentlemen?
Doing good. How are you?
Yep, excellent.
Yeah, doing pretty good today. It's been a nice sort of relaxing Saturday, especially with it being the bank holiday, so I cannot complain. So.
Yeah. Second
Thanks
that.
Thanks to Xbox and Sony, it's been another week for easy podcast news.
Yeah. I was like, we might have a nice, easy week this week, and then they were like, nope.
And then, boom, that's it.
Literally.
Good times.
So, what's everyone been playing this week? We'll start with you, Fabio. What have you been playing?
So, this actually has been a pretty fucked up week for me because of too much work. So, I wasn't able to play that much. But I managed to play a little bit of Sea of Thieves as well as Minecraft Dungeons. I played as well a classic OG Xbox title called Breakdown. Really nice, but bizarre, but still really nice to play. And so far, that's it, because I had so much stuff going on because of work and college and a lot of reports to do and all that kind of crap that I missed a lot of the times that that we just gathered around to play. I wasn't able to join you, sadly, but I'll try to do my best for next week to be more present.
And what about you, KY Bob?
Been playing some Halo 5, going through campaign storyline with some friends. I've been playing Outriders for the last 3 days, and they're having some issues with servers right now, which is to be expected somewhat from a company that like Square Enix and People Can Fly, who really aren't used to the whole Destiny type connectivity issues. But if anybody else is playing Outriders and they're having connectivity issues, go to status.outriders.net. They keep it up to date by the minute on issues that they're working on, what they resolved, and it displays their current status for their core mechanics, their multiplayer, and their account server info. But there's been some unexpected drops during gameplay where, it's not supposed to be a live service game, but yet it still wants you connected to its server all the time. And so it really sucks when you get to the end of a mission, and before you finish the mission and travel, you get dropped from the server.
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
That would really annoy me.
I'm fighting my way through it though. I'm level 17 with one of my characters and world tier level 6, which is it's a difficulty multiplier, and having a lot of fun with it. It's a good game. I just hope they get a hold of their server issues and we can move forward.
Is the performance good?
Yeah, it's 4K 60. Well, 4K 60 on Series X, but it's more around the 1900 to 2000p mark. Not quite 4K, but it's still 60 frames a second. I was capturing video yesterday, and it was consistently 59.65 frames a second.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's right there. It's nice and smooth.
And
nice.
wasn't it the Ubisoft's biggest release ever, though? I mean, didn't they have like 100,000 sort of concurrent players on Steam? So it's clearly the server issues are probably because there's that many people playing it, though. From what I can gather from looking online, basically.
Yeah, well, they had 2 million plus players on the demo, and then they put it in Game Pass day one. So they should have been ready for this server influx, and apparently they underestimated it.
That's
That
more common than it seems. We always have the sort of stuff like the game is released and the servers are in a bad state. It's funny. Why can't they just make it right at the start of it? Like
One of the things I
they,
read. Sorry, I was saying
What's-
one of the things I read about this was that they had the servers ready for everyone on the game, but the game makes you sign into a Square Enix account, and Square Enix wasn't ready for so many people to sign into their account at once.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. The wording of the dev sort of apology definitely places the blame more towards Square Enix, doesn't it? Then,
Yeah, 100%.
what about you, Slayer? What have you been playing?
Quite a few games actually. It was a pretty busy week for gaming. I finished off Halo 2. So that was pretty cool. Watching the new cutscene
Legendary?
and stuff. No, heroic.
yeah.
Legendary would have taken too long. I think we finished it in like maybe 7 hours. So I think Legendary probably would have taken like maybe 12 or something like that. So didn't really want to deal with that. But it was still pretty good. Played, continued Fable Anniversary for a bit. I think I'm getting pretty close to the end of that game, and having fun with that because I haven't played that game in a really long time, and that's like one of my favorite series. It was like my first Xbox game that I ever like Xbox RPG that I ever played, so that was pretty cool. And actually yesterday played through all of Halo 3 in one night because somehow we managed to finish it in 5 hours, which was kind of crazy. And we played it in like 4-player co-op at first, and we played it in 3 players. But it was pretty cool to play through. It's pretty cool to play through that whole franchise. That's what we're trying to do. And other than that, played a little bit of Sea of Thieves. Did that Legend of the Glitterbeard achievement. That was pretty cool to see.
That was really fun.
Very interesting. Yeah, and really cool Easter egg in that game. That's pretty much it. Today, after this, gonna probably play a little bit of Sea of Thieves or Shotgun Farmers. We'll see about that, and then maybe play a little bit of Fable 2. Finish that game off.
What about you, Jenna?
So I started on Sea of Solitude beginning of the week. Had a session on that. I think I've done about a third of the game, and I'm gonna upset some of you here when I say it, but it really hasn't gripped me. Like, I know some of you guys are big fans of it.
I can see why it hasn't, though. It's definitely one of those sort of Marmite games where you either you love it or you hate it. Definitely.
I love the art style. That's one thing that's really stood out about the game is the art style. But I think the gameplay itself and the story, I just really can't get into. I don't know why. But I can see why people would like it. It's just not for me at the moment.
Yeah, like for this game, you have 2 options: or you like it, or you are wrong. Simple as that. Just kidding.
And yeah, I haven't been online much. I think the clock's going forward. Like I was just talking about a minute ago, really messed up my 5 a.m. streams. So it took a couple of days to get used to that. And then I've just taken a few days off, like social media and streaming and stuff due to some issues I got going off offline. So I've just caught up on Red Dead Redemption, and I'm finally on Chapter 4 after God knows how many years. But I love it. It's a fantastic game.
It's one of those games I still haven't started yet. I really should. I've got it, and I just never get around to playing it. It always feels like it's gonna. It's such a big undertaking. I'm gonna have to commit.
Yeah, I spent one session before about 2 or 3 hours just trying to uncover the east side of the map and go to all the little, cities and villages and just kind of have a tour and see what's on the map and tick everything off. And it's incredible. There's so much to do and so much to see.
Nice. I think Alucard's here now. Are you here? Is he alive? Is he listening?
We sure hope so. Alucard, are you there with us? Maybe not. Maybe not.
Well, it says he's
He'll
here,
be
but
right away.
he'll talk at some point. Well, I'll go on what I've played then. So I'm sort of the same as the Ginner this week. The flicking of the hours totally messed me up. So going forward now, and then putting a couple of nights straight in with like Slayer and Alucard and stuff, playing Sea of Thieves till sort of 1 a.m, really messed my body clock up this week, and I've suffered. So the last couple of days, I haven't really played much. So like I say, earlier in the week, we were playing a lot of Sea of Thieves, and we played. We got that Glitterbeard achievement, which was great, and it was a really nice little sort of Easter egg to find. And joining with other crews and stuff like that, and so I was really glad we did that, and especially with the vault quests on at the moment to obviously get the extra items and stuff like that. And then other than that, I've played what's on the screen at the moment, which is Escape from Life Inc. So this is sort of like an indie game, like a platform puzzle game where you play as different animals. So you've got like a reindeer that's been like thrown out of Santa's workshop. You've got like a bald eagle, and then you've got a fish with legs. I'm about it's probably 4/5 of the way through. I'm on like chapter 4 of 5. I've been streaming that through the week, and it's all right. It's quite a fun little game. It's got a bit of adult humour in some of the sort of conversations that I had, and the puzzles are sometimes take a bit of thinking because you have to like flick between all the different animals because they've all got different abilities. So like obviously the bird can fly, the fish can swim, and the reindeer's got like a head to die for. It can like smash through walls and stuff like that. So that's the main thing I've been playing. And other than that, I've just sort of jumped in and out of a few little games. I finished one Escape, and I've been playing Harvest Moon Mad Dash. But other than that, I haven't played a lot. I've wanted to, but I've just been so tired. I thought I'll have a little bit of a break over a couple of days and sort of recoup instead of forcing myself to play games. And I feel loads better now for it. So all good on that front.
Can you guys hear me?
Hey, he's here now.
Yes,
All right.
he's here.
So
Welcome.
what have you been playing?
Oh, I've been playing not a whole lot of games, even though I have so much free time. But I guess I'm still burnt out. Like sometimes you just don't want to play anything. But I've been playing. I just finished Rise Son of Rome, and that game's
Nice.
awesome. The multiplayer is a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Makes you feel like a real gladiator when you're in arena. That's a lot of fun. But played some Sea of Thieves. We had that amazing adventure where we were just playing a song. It was like a seance. Like it was almost like we're casting spells. And we got that amazing achievement that opened up that secret base of like a hidden pirate base. That was really cool. We had to get like eight people had to play instruments and play that song at a certain time of the day. That was really cool. And then I started playing Outriders, and that game is just like Gears of War, so I'm probably gonna love it. But
But
yeah, that's about it for right now.
is it? Would you say that it's better than Gears of War?
It's the cover
Be
system.
very careful with your words.
Well, the cover system is different, but it's pretty similar with a lot of things. So it's like it has the Gears of War feel. It doesn't look as good as Gears of War, I would say, but
Mhm.
it's more open world. Not totally open world, but a little bit. And so it's like if like people saying it's like Gears of War if you made it into like an RPG. So
Nice.
you could tell that these guys, because they made Gears of War Judgment, that they basically that's their inspiration. So I like the gunfire is really cool. Like the guns are faster, like they're more they pump out the ammo faster, so it's more like more stronger of a feel of a weapon. So in some ways it's better, but Gears of War still has that part that I'll always love about it. So the characters and everything. So
Another really cool thing about Outriders is let's say you get a weapon and it's got a mod on it, and you don't, and every weapon you find after that doesn't have that mod on it. Well, you can go to the engineer in the camp, and you can use the iron and the leather and the stuff that's when you break down weapons. You can
Oh, that's
basically
cool.
build your own weapon. You
Yeah.
can go to the engineer and have, if you pick up another weapon that's got like you can change the mod over to that new weapon, or you can upgrade the current weapon that you have to the level of the weapons you're picking up. So you don't have to drop. If you like a way a gun fires, the amount of ammo it carries, and the mod that it has, you can just continue to upgrade that current weapon or that current armor piece that you have. And
Yeah, I wish Gears had customization and you can like make weapons. I wish Gears had that. So, but yeah, it does have that advantage over Gears. It's more in depth. So this game is gonna be something that you play for many years for
Nice.
sure. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna like it. I think I'm gonna
So,
invest into it. So
well, the good part is that the only problem that and the only issues that people have been having are just with the servers, right? But not with the
yeah,
game itself.
yeah. I got kicked out. Like I was playing it, just like the server went down. I was like, oh, okay, that sucks. But yeah.
Fair enough. And talking about what sucks, Kotaku. Sorry, I had to go to this topic because I'm curious with everybody's opinions. So it seems that Halo Infinite's not gonna be delayed again, right? Who would have guessed?
Yeah, so for those that weren't online earlier in this week, there was a tweet put out by like a fake, clearly fake, 343 Studios or 343 Industries like joke Twitter account, and it was clearly fake. It didn't have the verification tweet or anything, and even the stuff in the text itself, it was like that Cyberpunk one, on the yellow background, but it was like a Halo one, like, oh sorry, we're delaying it till 2022, and obviously, clearly very in depth and reputable and sort of verification driven media outlet Kotaku jumped on that and blasted it all over Twitter saying Halo Infinite delayed. And then they looked a bit stupid, didn't they, when it turned out it was quite clearly a fake, and they had to put up like an apology and saying sorry. But it just shows you how, if it's sort of negative Xbox news, people will rush that out without even bothering to verify or check or anything the sources. But I still can't believe they did it. It's about right, isn't it, for Kotaku, really, when you think about it?
oh yeah, it's right up their alley.
It's funny because the first few comments from people were saying, "Oh yeah, they're clearly in on it. They're just running with the joke," and then they put a tweet up saying, "Yeah, we got we fell for it." And not only that, if you actually clicked on the tweet and looked at like the responses, a lot of them were from the same person who'd put the tweet up, trying to sell.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Yeah,
Don't say it. Don't say
think
it.
of a way that phrase that Twitch would like. Women entertainment utilities. And links for them. So the fact that nobody picked up on it, they looked at this, is just unbelievable.
There goes our affiliate status. Man, I'm just
around that quite well.
no worries. I'm just surprised as well with how some PS fanatics, toxic fanatics profiles just were saying that, oh yeah, there we go, Halo is late and that's it. Now Xbox, shut the fuck up. You have got nothing the whole year. And then after they noticed that it was a fake announcement, they said, that was a bait. You all felt for or my bait. Like, man, god damn it.
You just got to
April Fools,
ignore
man.
it. Yeah, April Fools, that's it. I didn't really see many gaming April Fools this year. I didn't really look, but normally they're everywhere. The only one I saw was like Zoom Battle Royale, and I was like, that actually sounds fun. That IGN did.
Nice.
Are you talking about like
nice.
actual like April Fools like jokes or like
yeah, like
events and games?
actual April Fool's jokokes.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really see many from anywhere really, but like I say, the only one that stands out to me was the IGN one they did where it was like Zoom Battle Royale, and it's like when you're on your Zoom calls, you can start like kicking people out basically in like a battle royale
Oh
sort of
wow.
game. I
That's
was like,
weird.
I would do that. That sounds amazing.
Mhm.
Alas, it was not to be. Unfortunately, not to be. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to some actually decent news. Lots of positives this week in the land of Xbox. So we're gonna get started with the first
Yeah.
one. So earlier this week, Twitter started running like Twitter marketing ran a sort of best of brand sort of what's the word for it? They ran the best of brand sort of tournament bracket, which is for sort of their social media accounts for sort of companies, and obviously Xbox was one of the sort of finalists in this, and it got all the way to the end, and they came up against Skittles, and there was quite a big back and forth going on for a good day about who was going to win this. At one point, Skittle was quite far ahead, and then Xbox pulled it back and pulled ahead, and then I think in the end it ended up less than like 1% difference or something like that. It was so minute in the end, and I think they said about 350,000 people had voted. Now, I feel sorry for the Skittles fans because they were promised if Skittles won, they were going to give them lime Skittle flavors and bring it back. But the big, most fantastic news is Aaron Greenberg said if Xbox won, they're going to put the Xbox Series X mini fridges into production for like consumers to buy. And he's also updated it today saying they've already spoken to the manufacturers, so that's good. Yeah, so congratulations first to the Xbox social media team for winning. Rightly deserved because Xbox's social media has been absolutely on point for the last couple of months. It's seen a real big spike in quality, and it's so funny sometimes. And that includes not just the main one, but the UK one is just as funny as well. So whoever's currently manning their social media platforms, big congratulations. But what do you guys think to these fridges? Are you going to get one?
I think I'm gonna have one right here next to my console, and it's gonna have beer in it.
Yeah. I'll probably end up. I'll probably end up buying it if it ends up available here in Brazil. But yeah, I just voted for the mini fridge. I'm not gonna lie.
How big is it? Do you know how big it is? The measurements.
It's probably about twice the size of the console. It's not huge. It can hold like 2 cans wide, and you probably
Well,
maybe
we know
8
it's-
cans in. There's if you look on The Rock did a video with one about a month ago.
Oh, okay.
He got given one for a promotion, so have a
Yeah.
look on that and you'll see sort of size of it. But it's
Yeah,
not the same
I'm
size as
sure-
the console. It's about
I'm sure they're gonna scalp it though.
oh yeah,
For
probably,
sure. Yeah.
probably.
But like, is the model that they are going to make the one where it was a promoted mini fridge with The Rock or something like that? Is it going to look like?
It'll probably
Like
be
that one?
that size, but it won't have obviously the sponsor logo on it. It'll just be an Xbox Series X one, I'd assume. But they also
I
made
would
a
like
full
to
size
have,
fridge, didn't they? As well, they should bring out both of them.
Oh my god!
Yeah, nice.
Imagine if I
Nice.
had the full size one. Like
I
people
think
come
Snoop Dogg
over.
has
Only Snoop Dogg has it.
No, there's
Yeah.
some other woman got one. There's some female streamer got one as well. I saw a video.
Oh wow.
So there are a couple out there. But yeah, I wish I'd got one. They're amazing. I love them.
That's hilarious.
No, the one they had in the promo video on Twitter, it had the logo on it.
Yeah, the one from The Rock. Are you on about The Rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think if they go into sort of general sort of population and they start selling them, they'll not be those branded ones. It'll just be the Xbox branded. It won't have. It was like an energy drink, wasn't it? That sponsored that little Rock one.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, something like that.
unless they're bringing it
I
out
think
with
it also had his logo on it too.
yeah, unless they do some sort of partnership with them and you get some of the energy drinks included or something, then I could see them leaving the sticker on the side because increases the profits, doesn't it? Really, if they get them involved as well. But hopefully, we won't have to wait too long to find out about this because, like I say, Aaron Greenberg posted up earlier today that they were already waiting to hear back from the sort of the manufacturers on getting it started. So hopefully, it's not just US as well. I hope it's worldwide.
Congrats, we got a fridge.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if you guys know this, but I think I saw on Twitter that a little fun fact that it was actually due to Brad Sams that it was gonna be that these fridges are gonna happen. He's the one that kind of told Aaron Greenberg to do it if they win. Give him ideas.
It wouldn't surprise me though if they were already thinking of it, because I'm sure they've mentioned in a previous interview they were looking into it, and I think even Aaron Greenberg did some polls about it, asking if people would want one, and it was like a landslide. Yes, we want this stupid little fridge that's going to cost probably more than the console, but we all want one.
No, MSRP is looking around $200 US.
Oh, that's not bad then. I'll definitely pick one up at that. One for every
Not
room.
bad.
You can get a couple and you can open them and put them next to your PS5 to keep it cool. So it's fine.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Shots fired.
Damn.
It reaches the and hits the temperature of negative 4K Fahrenheit.
We'll move on to some other positive gaming news for Xbox people that isn't so positive for Sony fans.
This is madness. This is pure madness. I just gotta say that.
That Major League Baseball, which has been a Sony PlayStation exclusive since launch up until this year's game, which was announced for both Xbox and PlayStation, is also coming to Xbox Gamepass day one.
Day one. Like how insane is this? This is a game being developed. Okay, the license is not owned by Sony. Okay, but this is a game being developed by PlayStation Studios, and it's going to be released on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like, is PlayStation after this going to try to have this approach as well to put their games day one on their servers? Or do they tend to put more games available on Game Pass? What do you think? Because I wasn't expecting that. Before I saw that, I was thinking that this was going to be impossible.
Well, from what I can gather, it's not Sony that are publishing it on Xbox. It's listed as MLB, which may be the case, it may not be. And even if it wasn't, them putting it on the Xbox is a good idea for Sony anyway, because it will give them an idea of how sort of popular this sort of method is. Because it's quite clear at the moment, Jim Ryan doesn't want to put new games on PS
subscription service.
So, and he says it's not viable. But if you can put it on this platform and it's not going to affect the PlayStation in any shape or form, it's going to be good. I mean, if it does really well, I'd expect to see PlayStation take a similar approach going forward, without a doubt. But I think people are sort of, it's crazy that it's happening, but you've still got to think MLB isn't big anywhere but America. This is only of major interest to Americans, I would assume, because for me in England, I have no interest in MLB. I didn't care when it was coming out to Xbox as well as PlayStation. It's great for those fans that love it, but for me, it's not sort of like a mic drop sort of game. It's not as if like they've got Call of Duty day one, or they've got Spider-Man day one same day. It is just a sports game that's they're having to make multi-platform to keep the license, basically. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, what do you think, KY Bob?
It's kind of funny, really, because everything that's been said about Microsoft's practices for the last couple of years just seems like Sony
7 to 10 years.
Well, it just seems like Sony has been following suit. It's like, so, Game Pass was originally $1 for a month or two. Now PS Now is going to be $1 for a month, and Xbox has always put their games day and date on Game Pass, and now we see a Sony game going day and date on Game Pass. The next thing is Sony games day and date on PS Now. I mean, that's the only thing the service is missing. It's really come a long way. They need to get rid of the PS Now moniker and call it something else, because now when everybody thinks about PS Now, they think about streaming, and it's not really that anymore. You download them just like you do on Game Pass.
Yeah,
But
that
they
you
do
know what,
need-
that
Yeah.
put me off originally when it was just streaming, but now it's not just streaming. But you wouldn't know unless you've played it and tried it out. They've not tried to make any effort to change people's mindsets on that, have they?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
They need to work on their marketing for the brand.
Yep. Absolutely agree. Like, shout out to Dealer for Dealer Gaming. He said that they have to basically remarket it and tell people, hey, you could download games and play newer games and everything like that. It's not just streaming anymore. So yeah, you're right, man. Like they have to redo it.
The only
probably
thing
have
the only
to-
thing PS Now is missing is the newer games, because technically PS Now has a bigger lineup than Game Pass, but the majority of it is last gen games. Whereas at least with Game Pass, they're now getting a lot more current gen games on there. But which is one thing PS Now lacks. And when they do put a sort of decent game on, it's normally like 6 months to a year after its release, and then for some reason they only put it on for like half an hour, like half a month or a month. It wasn't on for long, if I remember correctly. Like you get God of War for a month or something like that. It was weirdly limited, just like to just try and get you to sign up originally, and then they just haven't done that in a while either. So
Well, originally PS Now was their answer to backwards compatibility because of the cell processor in the PS3. Those games that were developed for the cell processor in the PS3, they couldn't make them compatible without remastering for the PS4. So PS Now was their answer to back compat. And Game Pass has just turned that medium into a whole different monster now, and it needs to evolve.
yeah, I
think
agree.
this puts pressure on Sony as well in terms of just with this game, the amount of backlash they've got off people who normally won't criticize Sony at all. Like you said, it wasn't even their decision to bring it to Game Pass, but they're the ones who are getting the backlash. So unless they announce it's coming to PS Now or PS Plus on day one, it's not going to look good for them asking their fans to pay $70 for this. And Xbox players getting it first time for $1.
But
Yeah, that's something.
no, go on. What are you saying?
on,
No,
Ash.
you go.
No
You go
worries.
first.
Like that's something that I'm still quite curious. Like, why are people overreacting so much about this? It's not Sony's fault. It's not Jim Ryan's fault. I already saw a petition of angry fans saying that they want Jim Ryan out of the PlayStation CEO, out of his job. You know what I mean?
the outrage on Twitter. I put in our Discord how
Yeah.
funny it is. It's kept me giggling for a good couple of days now, because people like are getting stressed out and they're like, boycott PlayStation, do not buy anything. And I'm just laughing. It's so stupid. But we say that PlayStation Now is inferior to Game Pass, but when it comes to sort of PlayStation Plus to games with gold, that's a different matter. Like they're getting brand new games day one on PS Plus now. That's the difference.
Exactly.
So are Sony putting all their eggs into PS Plus now? Because they only really have to then spend on one new game a month instead of keep updating it all the time. They can just be like, oh, we'll put Oddworld on this month, we'll put Final Fantasy on this month. Yeah, they're big games, but when you think how much content Game Pass has to keep getting, maybe Sony are thinking of it from a different perspective. They're like, well, we'll get what we can from PS Now, and then we'll focus on PS Plus for those big games, because at least PS Plus is giving you some really decent sort of day one brand new games. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think games with gold is pretty much dead now, isn't it?
We'll talk
PS
about
Plus.
games with gold in a bit, about this month's game with gold. That's one of our later topics.
No, you're right. They see PS Plus as more of their Game Pass rival. They push the big games there. They can't sustain, the amount of. They could probably put their first party games on there after a year or two. They wouldn't be able to do it day and day if they rely on the sales.
Especially when they're so big. I
Right.
think the problem Sony have is they make really big, expensive blockbuster games, and it just doesn't.
Yeah.
They haven't got like a fair. I mean, I understand why people say it's like filler on Game Pass. I mean, some of them are, but Microsoft seem to have a better sort of mind on budgets at the moment than Sony. Sony would literally keep throwing money at Last of Us to make it shinier and shinier if they could. I feel.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
We also can't forget that Microsoft has a lot more money in their pockets.
Yeah.
Sony does, because of the fact that they're not just Xbox. So.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
And just to point out, like one more thing before if we're going to move on, like we talked about this before, right? Like there's a lot of developers that have their games on Game Pass that are making more money than they probably expected or would have without Game Pass. So it's not like they're going to lose out on money on this. They're still probably going to get a lot of money from DLC and stuff like that from Xbox gamers.
Yeah, I think people seem to forget that with Game Pass. They literally think that if it goes on Game Pass, they don't make any money anywhere, and it's the complete opposite. I mean, we discussed this last week. If your game's on Game Pass, you normally make more money off it than you would have if it wasn't. And gamers who have Game Pass spend more money. So it's a very odd mindset. I don't know whether it's just some weird fanboy fear, or I don't know why you would argue with it, or just like one of those physical collector sort of arguments. But I don't see an issue with it. And Microsoft, if they weren't making money off it, they would kill it. We know they would.
Yeah.
They've done it with their mobiles. They've done it with some of their older tablets. They've done it with like the VR headsets and stuff like the AR headsets. If it wasn't making them money, then they wouldn't be going all in on it. There's clearly a profit. I mean, it may not be profitable day one, but they're not going to be hemorrhaging money. They're going to be planning for, and it'll hit that number, and then suddenly it'll just be flooding in permanently, basically. So,
yeah, not only that, but I'm sure that Microsoft pays the developers and the publishers like a fee. Like, oh yeah, get have your game on Game Pass, we'll pay you.
Yeah, they basically, what I've seen with a lot of the indie games though. I mean, I can't say for the larger games like the big AAAs and stuff, but the indie games, a lot of them, they've paid for their entire development cost for the game to put it on Game Pass, and then the developer makes whatever they make after that. So if it sells on Xbox, they make their normal cut from it. If they sell DLC, they make the normal cut from it. If they sell it on other platforms, they make the normal cut from it. But Xbox have paid for the Xbox port to have it exclusive, like on Game Pass day one. So for the small developers, I mean, that's fantastic for them. They don't have to worry. They can make the game, and no matter what they do, they've not lost money. So it's a win-win, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I think the developer of Descenders, he's very vocal on Twitter, big fan of his. And he's been in arguments with a lot of fanboys who are trying to say how bad Game Pass is for gaming, and he kind of just puts actual figures out there. So they were saying how it was a nothing game and no one ever played it. He put out there that he'd made 6 figures off the game easily before it went to Game Pass, and since it's gone to Game Pass, he's made 5-fold.
Yeah.
He was saying this week that they mentioned there's going to be a Series X update, and that the game is, their whole press brief, it was saying this is on Game Pass, we're going to update it for you, it'll be no extra cost. And then this week it's gone up to into the top 10 sellers on Xbox. Yeah,
and the updates coming, that the next gen version is also going to be on Game Pass as well. So
yeah,
it's going to be
June, July. Some people are buying it now just off them putting it out there. So you ask a friend who has Game Pass, they'll say, yes, good game, it's worth a go. People are buying it.
Exactly. I'd love to get him on, because his tweets when he goes into the big in-depth information tweets are absolutely fantastic. Honestly, he's so good, and he spells it all out. He'll put all the figures out there. It's so informative. It's like I say, it's one of the rare cases where the devs like really going into it, and it's really interesting to see. Maybe we'll message him one day.
Maybe. We're not going to
Yeah.
promise anything, but next guest is going to be him.
Before we move on
just,
to the next topic, before we get too far away from the Major League Baseball,
Yeah.
Game Pass day one, and a Sony game on Xbox to begin with. If after it releases, Digital Foundry does a video and it plays better on the Xbox, that's the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
What's also funny is what we haven't
Yeah.
mentioned is the next gen upgraded version is also coming to Game Pass because it's smart delivery. So, and you have to pay extra.
Oh
you
my
have to
God.
buy, and I think it's $84 to get both on PlayStation. So it's $70 for the
man.
PS4 version, $84. It's like
Really?
Call
I
of
didn't
Duty
know
where you
that.
have to pay extra to get the next gen patch included. But on
Oh,
on
man.
Xbox, both versions are coming to Game Pass
No,
as well.
no,
But that's true.
there's no way PlayStation's not gonna try to make a nice answer, any answer about that. They can't just keep silence and
They may have
just
agreed to it.
fuck you, give me money, you know.
That-
Ah, shit.
It's funny though, isn't it? It is really funny. Yeah.
What's happening? Like, what's going on? How is this possible?
One thing
I'm
that's funny
still
is
shocked.
when people say, "Oh, Game Pass is nothing but filler," but if you're on PlayStation and you're buying Outriders and MLB, you could have bought a year's Game Pass for cheaper.
Exactly.
Oh.
Like, I think it's funny how people were saying things like Ori is available on Nintendo Switch and Minecraft Dungeons is a Microsoft IP, but it's available on PlayStation, so you can see the Xbox Game Studios logo on PlayStation. What are they going to talk about now with PlayStation Studios logo on the cover box and on your Xbox screen when you start playing it for $1 or just $10?
It's a great time to be a gamer, isn't it? There's so many. It's especially if you're an Xbox gamer. It's fantastic. I mean,
Exactly.
Nintendo kills Mario. The last 2 days ago, 3 days ago,
So fantastic.
and we're gonna segue in by saying, obviously, Nintendo killed Mario, removing all of the anniversary games off the store, which I thought was dirty but understandable. PlayStation have announced they're killing their PlayStation 3, PSP, and PS Vita stores. So if you want anything digitally, you've got to hurry up and buy them. And I was reading something how that devs weren't even told, and some of them are having to rush out ports for the Vita because they were planning to release games after the cutoff date. And it's just
Some of them
madness.
gave up on
That's
projects,
terrible.
right?
Pardon?
Some of them just gave up on projects that
Yes,
they were
some
working
have
on.
just cancelled the Vita ports, which is a shame for Vita owners because there has been sort of a steady stream of Vita games, indie games coming for the last few years. But in a weird sort
Exactly.
of sticking the knife in while your opponent's down, the same sort of day they announced that the PlayStation stores are officially getting shut down, Xbox pop up and say, we're doing backwards compatibility on xCloud now. So they put up a news post saying backwards compatibility reaches the clouds for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members. So whereas all these
Wow.
other companies are sort of stopping you from being able to buy old games and play your old games going forward, Xbox are adding 16 original Xbox and Xbox 360 games onto xCloud, which is obviously on Android phones and tablets at the moment, and whatever it comes to soon. Now, these include some really good games as well. Like you get Fable 2, Gears of War Judgment, Fallout New Vegas, Perfect Dark and Perfect Dark Zero, both Viva Pinatas 1 and 2, not the mini game one. Double Dragon Neon, Oblivion, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Banjo Kazooie 1 and 2, Gears 2 and 3, Morrowind, Jetpack Reloaded, and Cameo Elements of Power. So you can play all these old games
Nice.
on your phone and your tablets now going forward, and I think that's live now already. I think it went live the same day. So I mean, it just shows how Xbox are now pushing forward with sort of game preservation. And it also says that Jetpack Refueled, Viva Pinata, and the Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise all have touch controls added as well. So
Nice.
it's absolutely madness that all these other consoles are destroying their sort of legacies by not allowing you to buy games and play them. And Xbox, for
Yeah.
some
And
reason, after that's been criticised for
embracing.
years, is now embracing it. And people aren't making
Yeah.
a big enough deal about it. It's madness.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
wasn't it Jim Ryan that said like, who the hell cares about old games? Like then he said
Yeah.
something about Gran
Yeah.
Turismo, like how it looks
He,
disgusting,
he,
and he
he
would never
said
even
something
play the old
like
one.
who would play this?
Yeah.
I'll
He
see
said
if
he
I've
was
got
like
the
a-
quote. I did post it up somewhere, but I don't know if I've still got it anymore. But yeah,
was
he
a conference
basically
like
he basically
Sorry.
shat on it.
Yeah, he was at
Well, like
when
some
he had
games don't
games.
age well though.
Yeah, it was like a conference of all the old GTAs set up. Well, not GTA, sorry, just all the Gran Turismos. And he said nobody was playing the PS1 and PS2 because they looked trash, and who would want to play it?
Yeah. I mean that's crazy. Like who? I mean, first of all, like that's one opinion, and I'm sure most gamers actually care about their old games. Like I, for one, like right now I'm playing through Fable Anniversary. That game is how old, and I'm still enjoying it. And like yeah, it
Yeah.
didn't age well. It looks pretty bad, and I would love to see a remaster of the original Fable trilogy, like I said before, probably. But I mean, it's still it's still a great game, and I'm actually just having so much fun with it, and I actually can't wait to play 2 and 3. And speaking of Cameo, I actually love that game too, and I think I'm gonna play through that one next as well. So
Thank you. It's very worth it. Okay, Cameo is such a good game.
it
I
is.
just want to say about backwards compatibility. Like, I want to see more of these games get like optimized for like enhancements, like for Series X. Like 'cause a lot of them didn't get enhanced for Xbox One X. Like a lot of them getting kind of enhancements, but like I just hope they do more. You know, to give these games an extra chance at life.
Well, it's
I mean,
much more
interestingly enough,
possible on the
sorry,
Series
Well,
X
go ahead.
because the Series X has got a better implementation of auto HDR and machine learning. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I was gonna say. Like speaking of auto HDR, when I'm playing Fable, it actually has that feature, so it's pretty cool.
nice. Am I the only one who thinks that now, when they finish this part of bringing back compatible games on to xCloud, they will finally be able to add more games to the backwards compatibility list?
I really hope so. I really hope so.
I think that's what's been going on. Like they said that they are going to work on it. They will bring more stuff on it, but until now we had absolutely nothing. I think it's because they were working on giving this focus on xCloud. What do you think?
I don't really know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely they've put the focus in making sure everything worked when the Series X and S launched, and then we've got like VRR and that auto HDR stuff added. So I can totally understand why they haven't been bringing out more games, but I really hope they just do some. It doesn't have to be many, but there's even Xbox release games like Xbox Studios games that haven't been released yet on backwards compatibility, so there shouldn't be any issues really with them. So I just hope something happens that means we can start to get a few more at least. I wonder if they're saving it for like E3 and they're going to do. No, and they did that E3 and they dropped a ton of them. Maybe they're just
yeah.
waiting.
There's like 100 of them.
It's
I
not.
think that one time.
It's not like they haven't got a ton of news though at the moment, because to be fair, backwards compatibility was the sort of saving grace of Xbox last gen at the end of the generation, barring One X upgrades. There was nothing else to talk about. Whereas now, you can't. When are they going to fit all this new news in? They don't have to rush them out. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Fair
I think
enough.
yeah. I remember. I think it was last year or the year before. They said like, that they're right now their focus is, like I said, that they want to just release the series consoles and focus on all that stuff, and then they'll go back to hopefully bringing more games back to backwards compatibility. So I think aside from the some of the licensing agreements that probably have expired that will be probably hard for them to renew. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't bring back more games, you know.
Yeah,
Especially
so-
with all the news with PlayStation and Nintendo, how they're not really doing much to preserve these games. So
Just need an advert with Sergeant Johnson on there saying, "This is your heritage, son," using that line from the Halo game, and then have all the old games playing in the background.
That sounds right good. I would watch that.
Give me Fear. All the Fear games. I'll be happy. That's what I want.
Like what's like the biggest like Xbox first party games that aren't on backwards compatibility? Is it like from 360 or
There's a lot
the
on
original
Fable
Xbox?
on the original Xbox that aren't.
Xbox. Yeah, that's probably the issue. That's license. Yeah, like the music licenses and like
Yeah.
any kind of license, man. It's tough because some of these studios aren't even around anymore that made some of these games, and that's another problem, you know. And the code, sometimes the code is lost. I've heard of stuff like that, and yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, I'm sure I read somewhere today someone had said they'd lost the entire code to something and they weren't able to find it for some
it was
sort of.
Ninja Gaiden Black.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not able
Mm.
to find the original code, so they can't ever sort of bring a remaster or like a improved version out. You've just got to deal with what's already out there, or they'd have to remake it completely. So
I think the reason why that came up was because the other three Gaiden games are getting a remaster in the summer, and I think someone asked about like, what about Black? And I think that was the response to that.
yeah,
Speaking of licenses, didn't one of the old GTA games recently get songs removed from it in a patch because the license has expired?
wasn't that GTA 5? Didn't they do it on that because obviously because of online and stuff? I think they patched out a load and added a load in.
It's bizarre. No, I think 4 as well got hit with a lot of the ones taken out of the single player,
Probably,
in the patch.
yeah.
Which sucks if it's a song you really like when you go back to play it.
Yeah,
Once
but
they-
look at Tony Hawk's. That didn't have all the songs in when it came back. It had most of them, but there was a couple they just weren't worth trying to re-sign. They said. So I know there was a few notable ones missing in the new remastered Tony Hawk's.
Good game too.
Oh yeah, has anyone got the upgrade yet? The next
I
the
think
next gen
I
patch.
haven't played it since. Yeah, I haven't played it since the upgrade, but I think I got it.
Yeah, I've patched it too, but I haven't played it because I mean I pretty much finished that game. I may come back to it, but
Yeah, I didn't buy the collector's edition or like the better edition, so you don't get it for free. You have to pay $10 to play the next gen version, even though it's updated my game to the next gen version. To actually play the nicer version, I have to pay extra,
oh wow.
even though it's installed it on my console, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
Which is so annoying. There's just no reason for that. It's just literal greed.
Yeah, it sucks, especially when what's that one game? Not Grounded, but there's a game that I have. I think it's came out a couple years ago. But like where you have to make sure you buy the right version. If you could buy the last gen or the new gen version. They don't have, like for digital, you have to be careful. Always you get the wrong one, and that doesn't make any sense.
Is it Control? Are you talking
Yeah.
about Control?
I think it's Control. Yeah. The digital versions. There's 2 different digital versions, and then if you buy the physical Ultimate Edition, you get both. So it made no sense at all. So
Yeah, people trying to do their best just to grab easy money, and that's it.
yeah.
It's fuck.
If you bought the physical version of the new Tony Hawk's, you can't upgrade your game at all. You have to buy the digital version.
Only on
Pay the
Xbox.
full-
Really?
Only on
Only on
Xbox. On
Yeah.
PS4,
Oh,
you
God.
can use the physical for some reason. It's just Activision messing about, honestly.
Yeah, that's so confusing.
Holy crap!
And also, in
Uh,
response to them talking about xCloud on Twitter this week, someone tagged Phil and was like, "When's it coming to iOS?" And he put soon. So fingers crossed that it comes sooner rather than later, because I've bought the bloody strap when they brought out the beta on iOS. Like, I've got the thing that connects it to my controller, and I haven't been able to use it since because they stopped it and switched it off. So yeah, give us it on iPhone, give us it on browsers. I cannot wait, because I would use it loads more. It'd be great while I'm on my dinner at work or something. I could just quickly jump on a game, something like not Animal Crossing, Viva Pinata would be such a good game for cloud, because you can jump on and do a little bit now and then. Those sort of games,
Yeah,
the sort of sim life games, will flourish on cloud, and for those that are just like want to just play something, you don't have to focus, you don't have to be like precise and stuff like that.
there are it's funny how there are so many games, in my opinion, from Rare. That work so well with cloud. Banjo-Kazooie, in my opinion, is one of them. Jetpack Refilled is another one of those. Viva Pinata. I can even say that. What is the name in that? What is the name? Cameo is another one that would be perfect for it. I think that they are pretty simple, fun, with a little bit of challenging parts, but still pretty simple games that, in my opinion, would work greatly on xCloud. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I'd love to see some of like the smaller games make a comeback as well. Now they've got cloud and stuff. I'd like to see more retro get added. I mean, could you imagine in the future though, if they get sort of like other games, other companies like retro games added to Game Pass? Like, if they ever did sort of team up with Sega for a Game Pass deal, imagine if they started getting like Mega Drive games added to Game Pass that you could just play on your phone and stuff. I mean, barring the obvious ones that are on everyone's current devices, it just opens up so many possibilities to like classic games and series and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I
You,
know what I mean.
you guys have heard of OtterBox, right?
Yeah,
Well, did you see the controller phone clip and the case to carry the controller with the clip on it that they came out with?
no, I haven't. Does it look good?
Yeah, oh, it's really nice. I pre-ordered it, and so I got it on day one. And the clip is completely balanced. It holds you can sit the controller down, and it won't fall over with the phone on it, and it folds all the way down to the controller.
Right.
And when it folds down to the controller, you get they sell this case. It's a really nice case, like the Elite controller comes in, and it's got a handle on it, and you just stick your controller with the clip on it in the case, and then when you're ready, take it out of the case, pull the clip up, and if you've got, like, I've got a 11 Pro Max iPhone, so it's a big phone, and I had a problem with the other clips. I had to modify them in order to get my phone to fit. This OtterBox phone clip, I have another half inch of space that I mean, my phone is too small for the clip almost. It works really well. I would recommend it to anybody.
Nice. Talking of things that you can add to get for your console, I picked up a media remote today, because I watch a lot of TV and streaming and stuff on my Xbox, and using the controller is cumbersome at best, and it burns through batteries. So I've bought one of those media remotes that it's got the Xbox button and everything. So far so good. The only problem is I can't connect it to my TV to do the volume, because I tried and it just kept muting. I pressed mute and it would like auto on and off, on and off, on and off continuously, or I'd turn my volume down and it would either go all the way down or all the way up, and it wouldn't stop. So I think I need to sync it in a better way with my TV, but just to use it on the Xbox for like browsing the dashboard, going into my programs and stuff, it's absolutely fantastic for movies and stuff. It's literally just got a pause and a start button and a skip, so I don't have to faff about with my controller anymore. So yeah, definitely, if you can pick one of them up, I picked one up for like 20 quid here in the UK, next day delivery off Amazon. So definitely, if you watch a lot of movies, or you do a lot of streaming or YouTube or anything like that, you use the media player, I'd definitely recommend one for people.
Oh, Zash,
Y-
you just reminded me of remember the first generation smart remotes that had like 100 buttons on them. They were these huge monstrosities, but you could control your VCR, your
Yeah.
television, your stereo, everything on it.
Yeah, well, this one, there was another version out that's come out for the Xbox Series X, but I cannot seem to find it in stock anywhere, and it's got less buttons on it, and it's very basic. Well, this one's got a few more, like it's got buttons that you can control your telly on, but I honestly don't need that. It was mainly just so instead of having a controller on, I can literally switch my Xbox on with this TV remote, jump onto the programs I want to watch on Netflix and like Amazon and stuff, control my movies and stuff with it, and then I can switch my Xbox off without ever having to switch my pads on. Because like when my kids are watching telly, they'll burn through batteries because they're leaving the pad sat on while the TV's playing. So
Oh,
it just and I haven't got a rechargeable battery pack at the moment, and it's just absolutely burning through batteries. Whereas with this, that controller will last for ages, and then with the my pads can be saved for actual gaming and stuff like that, so they should last a bit longer. But no company's made a good TV remote yet. I don't know if the new PlayStation 5 one's any good, because I remember having the PS4 and you'd put your pad down on the bed or the chair and it would fast forward because the triggers at the back were so easy to touch.
yep.
Oh my god, it was so annoying trying to watch Blu-rays
I
and
remember
stuff.
that too, because it would happen when you weren't looking either. Because you'd be looking at the remote when you sit it down, and you fast forward 30 seconds, and you look up at the screen, you're like, "Hold on, what I miss? I wasn't here."
Exactly, yeah, it's so annoying. It's the weirdest. Whoever decided to assign those back bumpers, like the back trigger buttons, to do those abilities, needs shooting, because it was just terrible. It was such a stupid waste, and it drove me
The
insane.
D-pad was made for that. Why didn't they just do the D-pad?
Yeah, it's so strange. It proper baffles me.
All right, what's next?
Right.
Well, going to the next topic then. I think this one is going to be a nice topic for KY Bob. Bob, it's time. Bring it on. Go on. I know you are probably excited for this one.
The xCloud coming to iOS?
No, I think he's
No,
on
I
about
was going to
EA
say
and PGA.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
So
you were the one who brought the topic in. Now you don't know what to
brought the
talk about.
topic in, but I thought it was going to be towards the end. My bad. Uh, yeah. EA announced that they are grabbing the shovel and digging their golfing franchise out of its grave. And I couldn't be happier because EA, they still own over half of the licenses for brands, golfers, and golf courses with PGA games. I'm excited because PGA 2K21 is a great game, but it's missing a lot of stuff because they don't have the licenses, and those are still being held by EA. And now we'll finally get a full product.
Could you talk more about this franchise? Because I'm not gonna lie, probably because here in Brazil we don't have the culture of watching golf matches, or it's not a very popular sport. But I'm curious, what is all about this game?
Well, EA always carried their golfing franchise under the Tiger Woods moniker, and when Tiger Woods started having a lot of personal issues in his life and in his career, EA kind of stepped away from Tiger the same time Nike did. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, Tiger was so popular that all the licenses went to EA for the brands of golf clubs, for certain golf courses that they play the Masters at, or the Players Championships. Even Pebble Beach, you could only play on that game. And there hasn't been one for about 3 years now. And except for PGA 2K21 made by 2K, And that game's
Mhm.
great. It's got great mechanics and everything, but it's just missing a lot. Like if I want to play a golf game, I want to actually equip the clubs that I own in real life. Well, I can't do that in PGA 2K21 because all those clubs, that brand isn't, they don't have the licenses to those brands that I own, but EA does with their Tiger Woods franchise. So it looks like they're going forward now, just carrying the PGA moniker and dropping the Tiger Woods, which is ironic because I heard the other day that 2K21 has signed a contract with Tiger Woods for Tiger Woods to be in their game. So
Nice.
yeah, it's strange. Yeah, I'm
No, but
excited.
no, but pretty nice for those who always been for those who are fans of this franchise. I'm not gonna lie. Since I'm not much of a fan of golf itself, I think the only game that I played about golf was Hot Shots Golf on the PS1, and that
I
was
love
really
Hot
nice.
Shots
But
Golf.
thank you, someone with a good taste.
It was one of my favorite games on my PSP was Hot Shots Golf. I love playing that.
And like, but after that one, I never actually had the curiosity of going out and playing another game of these sports. So pretty good to know that EA trying to bring back this IP. That, for what you said, it was dead for a time.
Yeah. It looks like EA
Nice.
is going to bring back their boxing franchise too.
Really?
Yeah.
Was UFC Undisputed EA's franchise? Try to remember now, or Fight Nights. I don't remember about this one.
Fight Night was EA, and now they're going to come out with another boxing game. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's not Fight Night. And everybody's
It's
like,
Fight
well,
Day.
why don't they just make another Fight Night? Because Fight Night was amazing. It still is amazing. You can still play online against people and everything to this day.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Fight Night is the best boxing game ever. I absolutely love Fight Night.
Facts. In my opinion, the best part of Fight Night is how well done was the system where you were able to create your own fighter. Like you could put yourself in the game. That was pretty awesome. And nowadays, people try to do that, but it's just not the same thing. It misses a lot of good points that Fight Night had.
Yep. It looks like EA is trying to make us old gamers happy.
We hope so. We hope so, because there are a lot of times that EA tries to do something, but then there are some surprise mechanics that just piss off everyone. Simple as that.
It just doesn't work out.
Wasn't
Exactly.
wasn't Tiger Woods the first one to do that game face as well, which then made its way into Fight Night and FIFA and stuff?
Yeah, it was. You could make your own golfer. I remember that.
Yeah, there was this first one where you could use the Xbox camera, or you could go onto EA's website and upload photos of yourself. Download
Nice,
a virtual version of yourself. Yeah, it was great. It's back when EA used to chuck loads of features in games and really put a lot of effort in and innovate.
What? Well, are you saying that there was a time where EA put effort?
Wow, they actually were creative.
Time they actually went out of their way to make gamers happy.
Beginning of the 360 era, EA were killing it, and then they just discovered microtransactions, and rest is history.
Do you remember when they started putting those codes in your game that you couldn't play online without a code, and if you bought it second hand, it's you had to pay a tenner or something like that to play online.
Oh man, yeah.
Wow.
Which is annoying because then they shut the servers down like a year later for half of those games, so they've just proper robbed you.
Damn. I mean, this is a perfect example of backwards compatibility at its finest. You know, like how can you not want backwards compatibility when you play games that are so classic? I don't get it. Like why people knock it. You know, it just doesn't make any sense.
People that don't have nostalgia, maybe.
Yeah,
No,
but that game
that don't have the backwards compatibility. When they don't have that option, they knock it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that game, it looks like a current game, Fight Night. Like the graphics and the character models, like I was like so impressed. Like it still looks good. Like what? So
I
it's
think
like,
Fight Night got a 1X enhancement in 2017.
did it? I don't know if it did.
Think so. So what you're playing now on is 1X, which 1X enhancements seem to be working out very well on Series X.
Yeah.
Nice.
Man, the whole licensing things pisses me off because like Sunset Overdrive, which is now owned by Sony, I never saw an enhancement for Sunset Overdrive, and I never will. And that's very disappointing.
It might get the auto
Well,
HDR and stuff like that, though. They could always do something like that
Oh
with it.
yeah.
yeah, and like after what happened with MLB coming to Game Pass, maybe they will try to. It's now a possibility to have a nice Xbox One X update or Series X update.
Yeah.
I just like a
Yeah,
sequel
well-
to Sunset Overdrive. I know we're probably never going to get one on Xbox, but
Yeah,
who knows?
Make sure
Who knows?
you have a PS5 for that.
Who knows? We're getting MLB Day 1 on Game Pass. Maybe we'll get a Sunset Overdrive 2 that comes to both consoles, but it
Everything
could
is
happen.
possible now.
We're getting Alan Wake 2
Ima-
supposedly on Epic are supposedly making Alan Wake 2 according to the news on like the rumors online at the moment. So
What?
yeah,
I really hope that's true.
I hope so too.
as long as it comes to consoles, I'm fine with it.
Everyone is hoping that's true.
Microsoft
Well, you know that
idiots for
that
letting
you-
that go.
that universe never died. I mean, Control,
Yep.
Alan Wake, Quantum
Yep.
Break, they're all in the same universe. If you play through the games and you find all the collective secrets in the games,
Yeah.
those stories are so interwoven that it doesn't surprise me that Alan Wake's going to make a return.
I really want a sequel to Quantum Break. I'm not gonna lie. I love
'Cause
that.
Alan Wake, didn't he come up missing at the very end of the DLCs? So we still don't know where he's at.
Nice. It's just an odd one.
Sure.
I don't know why that was that phase where Microsoft wouldn't sort of greenlight sequels. We never got like a Blue Dragon or a Lost Odyssey or an Alan Wake sequel. And it shot them in the foot now because another company's got it and will eventually do pretty well with them. And it's like, I know people, I wish they'd bought Remedy as one of the studios. I understand why they did it because obviously their games weren't massive sellers, but they never gave them the support to really push them. Alan Wake was like critically acclaimed, it just didn't sell stupidly well, but they didn't give it the sequel the chance to sort of grow and expand. All we got was a really bad sort of survival shooter instead. Do you know what I mean? In the same
Oh.
universe.
Alan Wake's Nightmare.
Yeah.
They had two expansions for that, didn't they? One called The Rider and the other one called something else.
Yeah, the expansions were batshit crazy. I mean, the writer one, I swear, I'm sure that's the one where it was like the reality was sort of like ripping apart and stuff. It was like the words were appearing in front of you, and then you'd shine your torch on the word, and the thing would appear like it'd be like fire hydrant, and you'd shine your torch on it, and it would appear and stuff like that. Oh, I loved Alan
Remember
Wake.
the one said lamppost?
Yeah,
A huge
lamppost.
lamppost would appear in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah. It just I got it. I loved it. It's one of my favorite games. I had the background on the 360. I had the avatar costume. I had it all, and then it just disappeared forever. And they even did that crappy TV show that linked in with it on Xbox, didn't they? You could watch like a 6-episode weird TV show that like linked into it, and then they never did it with it. I never understand why.
It's called Winter Falls or something like that. was
Yeah,
it?
something like that. It's lost to time now, though. I don't think it's on the store
Yeah.
anymore.
Something that needs to come back that you
Uncanny.
touched on then is You know, we get the interactive backgrounds on the Series X now, where the colors change and it ripples.
Yeah.
They need to have ones themed to certain games, like they used to on the 360.
Yeah, that's one thing the PlayStation does. The PS4, I don't know what it's like on the PS5, but on the PS4, their backgrounds are great, and they don't just change the background; they even change like the icons and everything. And
I'd love that.
there's
Bring
some
that
right
back.
good ones. I used to have like a Hobbit one. There was a Dragon Age one. There was all sorts. I mean, it's something so simple. It doesn't take a lot of effort to make, especially now. It would just be sort of like a animated background image. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't even have to change anything in front of it. So
The best one I had on the 360 was the Perfect Dark Special Edition one that came in like the tin case, and that background looked incredible. And yeah, I sent my 360 off to be repaired and lost it because I'd got rid of my physical copy of my game and it wouldn't let me re-download it. It's heartbreaking.
You heard it here first. Remedy will be the next developer acquired by Microsoft.
I hope so.
they've been bought by Epic though, haven't they? Or they've agreed some sort of big crossover with
publish-
Epic. They were getting published by.
Publishing 2 multi-plat games.
Yeah.
Oh hell, we'll buy Epic too.
If that doesn't happen, blame KY Bob, not the podcast.
Yeah, I'll take the blame. Hit me up on Twitter.
Put the blame on the Xbox Series podcast. No, just kidding.
Well,
Right, there you go.
Yeah, I mean-
That's a nice sponsorship.
well, as they make another Alan Wake game, I don't care if it's multi-plat. Who cares? You know, if it's, I just want to play it wherever it is. Hopefully it's on
Exactly.
Xbox. It doesn't have to be exclusive or whatever. Who cares? You know, just make it. Get the money for it and do it.
Where's our do it emote?
I'm doing it. Give me a second.
That's going to be necessary.
It's
It's
coming
do
up.
it time.
Do
But like,
it.
would you accept it that if they just released a remastered version of the first game and then they announced as well that they would work on a sequel? Would you be happy with that? Like, we are going to release this year a remaster of the full game of the first game, and but we are working on a sequel. Would you be happy with that?
I would play both for sure. Give me everything.
What about
Yep.
what
I'll go
about
do
you
a
guys?
Remaster and get all the achievements again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I've actually never
yeah.
played that game, so I have to go back and.
What? Get out of here!
What?
Yeah,
Get out of here! You're fired. That's a guy. Just so you know, the podcast, the Xbox Live Party podcast, is now 5 members and Slayer. That's it.
You
That's
think you know
It
about
was
it?
because I was like I don't know how old I was when it came out, but I wasn't. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of scary games now either. Like horror games, I play them like it's fine, but like I don't necessarily enjoy them too much. And I know that game wasn't necessarily scary, but it was kind of a thriller, right? So
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's
but like,
Psychological thriller. Yeah.
yeah,
but like, here's the thing. I know what you mean, but and I don't like and I'm holy shit. And I'm not a big fan of scary games either. But still, I really like games that are with the scary genre, but more focus at the atmosphere than into trying to do jump scares. Jump scares I hate, but the atmosphere is so I can feel myself tense or more into the story. That's something that I really love about these types of games.
But don't play Visage. You'll scare the shit out of yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, that being said, though, I would.
I want to play
I'll
that.
take into consideration.
You're gonna if you play Alan Wake, you're gonna see an amazing like acting, and the characters are absolutely, because this is written by Stephen King, I believe, right? I thought it was.
No, it's not.
No, it's written by
No,
Sam.
I think it's inspired by Stephen King or something like that. I think it has its Easter eggs, but not necessarily written by it.
Because I think isn't he like the head of Remedy, Sam Lake, and he's the writer as well.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he pretty much writes all their games.
Just get used to Alan Wake having a smoker's lung. Because holy fucking shit, that guy doesn't run.
But no, he trundles.
You're gonna when you meet these characters, like there's these two like old like metalhead
Oh,
stoner
I love that
characters.
bit. Yeah.
Oh my god, so they are so awesome. The old gods of Asgard, baby. That's what their band was called. And man, you have no idea what you're missing out, man. It's actually pretty funny, and then it's actually like a psychological thriller all mixed into one. You know, it messes with your head. So
I mean, I have played Quantum Break and I enjoyed that game. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Using
Yo,
your
like-
If you like
flashlight to burn away the
like-
darkness so that you can kill the enemies. It's amazing.
Exactly.
it's so good,
If you-
man.
If you liked Quantum Break, you are going to love it. Opinion.
yeah, I'll definitely like it's definitely on my backlog. So
That's it.
A lot of
Forget
games,
about
right?
the rest of the podcast. Forget about the rest of the podcast. We are going to just talk about how much awesome Alan Wake was. Simple as
That's
that.
right.
Now I gotta play it again.
Go to Gamepass right now and download Alan Wake.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely.
I loved his best friend. Is it Barry? The guy who gets like
Yeah.
stuck trying to open gates and stuff, and he keeps apologizing
Yes.
and fluffing things up.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
Isn't he like
Yeah.
Isn't he like his publicist or something?
Yeah, he's like his agent or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, his age is right. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I love Barry.
I like American Nightmare too. I thought it was fun because it's like Groundhog's Day kind of thing. I like
That's the
I like
DLC, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
it's,
now-
kind it's like a standalone arcade. They call it like an arcade. When 360 had arcade games, whatever.
It's funny how until now we were talking how awesome the game is. And then Alucard mentions the DLC, everybody's quiet. Nobody wants to talk about that shit.
No, the DLC was good. It was the spin-off
I know.
mini game was just that. It just was there basically. So
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding. No words.
Hmm.
But should we move forward? Continue with the schedule.
Yep. Let's go.
yeah, so we're gonna move on to a bit crapper news. Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Complete Ultimate Mega Final Saga version, which has got all 7,000 Star Wars movies in it, has been delayed, and no new date has been given, unfortunately. So that sucks because it actually looked pretty decent for a change, but it is what it is. 505. Yeah, go on. What were you going to say?
When was that game announced for the first time? Because I was excited when it was first announced, and now it seems like it's going to not be released for forever. Like I'm just
COVID, mate. Everyone's slowing down, so
I'm worried like that this gonna take like 5 years or 12 years like so Cyberpunk. So goddamn, it's just a Lego game. Give it to me.
It's going to take as long as it took them to make episodes 1, 2, and 3 after 4, 5, and 6.
yeah, that was forever.
Okay. I'll only play this game until episode 8. I'll just forget episode 9.
To be
From
fair, right?
existence.
To be fair, having a bit of a break between Lego games can't hurt it because the Lego games are getting a bit stagnant after all these years. So if they have to delay it till next year, it'll come back a bit fresh, and everyone will probably be more interested in it. Do you know what I mean? So,
Fair enough.
but there's not much to say on it because they haven't given a release day. They just say they're going to bring it to us as soon as possible, and they'll give more information soon. But it's not going to hit its current announced date. 505 Games have acquired the Ghost Runner IP. Do you want to cover this, Fabio? Because I think it's you who shared this, to be fair.
Let me just open here the link and see if my internet doesn't go potato.
We've got it ready, don't worry.
Yeah,
I wanted
put
to
it up just in case. Just
I wanted
already,
to
just
play
put it
that
up.
game.
So here's what happens. There was this game called Ghost Runner, and it was pretty nice. I haven't played it, but for what I saw from videos and the reception that people were saying about that game, it seems to be really awesome, really decent for what it proposes to be. And it seems that the studio 505 Games has just acquired for 5 million pounds, stuff like that.
$5 million dollars or euros. I think it is
Yeah,
euros.
euros. Yeah, sorry about
Dirty
that.
euros.
Yeah. And here's the thing. As reported by the gaming industry, 505 Games worked on publishing the title with All-In Games last year, but has now purchased the full stakes in the IP and owns it solely, along with all licenses for the technological solutions used in the game. So basically, they published the game. The game was pretty successful, and they wanted to have the full game. So pretty interesting. I'm curious to see what they intend to do if this game is going to have a sequel, or if they intend to put a new expansion or stuff like that.
Yeah, I've not really honestly followed it or ever really looked into the game, so I don't know what it is, what it's like. But obviously they've got a lot of faith in it if they want to buy the IP outright. So
Like it's pretty much the gameplay is pretty much arcade where you have this obstacle course, you have your enemies along the way, and you have to kill all the enemies without dying. So you are able to wall ride, wall jump, dash, teleport, do all kinds of stuff with guns and swords, but in a more arcadey style, I would say, for what I saw from the videos. If I'm wrong, please, someone that played it, do correct me, please.
I remember it was a Ghost Runner was a very arcadey. Wasn't a side-scrolling game.
I've no
No,
idea.
no, I don't think it was side scroller. You could consider it to be side scroller. It was
No, it was like
first
a
person.
first person it was like a first person sort of Mirror's Edge style runner, but you had like
Yeah,
a samurai fucking sword katana thing, and you're like
Yeah,
it's
it's
really fast
like
paced, and you if I remember correctly, you like jump and sort
a
of swing
s-
off stuff, don't you?
yeah, you're like a
yeah,
cyber ninja.
exactly. Yeah, people
Nice.
will. I would love to have this game on Game Pass. I think it will work pretty well as well. There's every game works pretty well on Game Pass. Who am I kidding?
There's too many games at the moment. Let's play a few this month and then give us more next month because at the moment you just can't keep on top of them. And I understand you're not supposed to play all of them, but I want to.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Moving on to some other news. CD Projekt has announced that on 29th of March this year, CD Projekt signed a term sheet specifying the conditions under which it will acquire the Vancouver-based game dev studio, and so it's buying a studio basically, and they've been in cooperation with them since 2018. It's Digital Scapes, I believe they've bought, and they're
Yeah.
basically going to convert them into CD Projekt Red Vancouver, and that'll be joining CD Projekt Red's other three teams, which are in Warsaw, Krakow, and is it Croclaw or Crowlaw? Crowclaw? I apologise if I've butchered your town's name. And they'll
Now
help
it's
jointly work on the studio's upcoming projects. So it's nice to see that they're growing. But they should probably be working on Cyberpunk first to fix it before they start any
yeah.
new games. But hey ho,
Yeah, here's the thing. I think they decided to acquire this studio because they have a close relationship for what it says here. They do have a close relationship, and I think that, guys, we are pretty fucked up here. We need help. Wanna join us? Please join us. Help us to fix this shit. And then, okay, I really think that their intention is not to make only good games, but as well as to fix the disaster that it was Cyberpunk's release.
well they also came out and said they're going to be doing 2 AAA games at a time going forward instead of doing like focusing on one game at a time. the plan is to focus on
Yeah,
2 of them. So it wouldn't surprise
yeah,
me
that's
if the fixes to Cyberpunk are a side project going forward, and they're just gonna.
like they they as well announced that they are canceling the Cyberpunk multiplayer that they've promised, right?
Yes. That
Oh
is
no.
canceled indefinitely.
Like
Oh
it
man.
is how the mighty have fallen. Like is CD Projekt Red just shooting itself on the foot? What's going on?
That's
They
so
have
disappointing.
they have many DLCs planned for Cyberpunk, so maybe this studio acquisition is so that a team can stay committed to fixing the game while the other team works on content.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
there was a leak, wasn't there, with a very sort of good
Yeah.
leak. Like it's most likely correct. When there was about what was this 18 DLC packs announced, and that obviously
Yeah,
they
like
could
8.
range from very small sort of costume and weapon packs to full DLCs, but they've clearly got a big plan on the horizon. And honestly, no one wanted the Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer because basically it was just going to be Cyberpunk GTA Online. That's clearly what they originally envisioned that as. It's going to be in like GTA Online, and they were like, "Oh, we can make all that money off live service games." But if you can't even get it for one person to walk around without it dying and crashing and cars flying across the map and falling through the floor, then how are you going to do it for a ton of other people at the same time? It's just not going to happen, is it? So
No,
Yeah, with
but
regards to the DLCs, I think they were going for the same kind of plan as they did with Witcher, where so you said 18. I think 3 of those were supposed to be like expansions, like paid for expansions, and then the rest of it was supposed to be just free, like outfits and stuff and cars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did with Witcher. Like everything other than the full on expansions was free. So
No, you can be sure that with the way that Cyberpunk is doing right now, it's going to take I think it's going to take a long time for them to announce any paid DLC. They are going to say I'm sorry for a long time,
oh, it
in
was
my
9.
opinion.
It was 9, not 18. I've obviously got excited and read something. It's Ripperdocs expansion, Body Shops expansion, Fashion Forward expansion, Gangs of Night City, Body of Chrome, Rides of the Dark Future, the Relic Neck Deep, and the Night City expansion. Now they have come out. The company have come out and said they're not the DLCs for Cyberpunk, so the names of the DLC are not actual going to be DLCs. So they could be free content updates. They could even just be sort of code names given to sort of just game updates or fixes, like they're going to work on like the shops and stuff like that. We don't really know, but it's the only thing we definitely know is they're reconsidering doing the multiplayer, and they have said going forward they're going to be working on 2 sort of games back to back instead of side by side, should I say, instead of doing one at a time back to back.
I'm
Has
actually
anybody-
more excited for. Oh, no, go ahead, man. Sorry.
has anybody played Cyberpunk since the 1.2 update patch went live a week ago?
I'm
I have.
still waiting for me to get my Xbox Series X or Xbox Series S. I'm still deciding on which console I'm going to buy, so then I can play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Cyberpunk, because those are the best and more stable versions, right?
Yes.
That's I'm waiting for my Xbox Series X to play. To me, those games are next gen games. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what it feels like, that they were meant for next gen.
They
Mhm.
became next gen.
Yeah.
So
Do they receive any next gen upgrades?
Officially, no,
Not
they
for
haven't brought out the proper patch
Cyberpunk
yet.
has not. No.
Yeah, they just work better on next gen consoles. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I know
So
someone's got
even
the PS5 version, and he said since that like 40 gig patch, it does play better, but there are still a lot of bugs. It still kicks you out every now and again for crashes. It's not perfect, but it is a definite improvement, and it is playable. But like I say, it's a 40 gig update, and there's no current ETA on the proper next gen versions that'll bring it in line with like the PC sort of graphic settings and stuff like that. So
Yeah. What even Assassin's Creed Valhalla that hasn't been officially patched?
that's it's not got a next gen patch as such. It just runs at a better resolution and a better frame rate on next gen. I don't think there's an actual. It's got smart delivery on it, so it's already got a next gen upgrade as such. It's just it's nothing amazing over just resolution and frame rate buffs. I couldn't tell anyway.
But like, does it have the icon of optimized for the next gen consoles? Like that, where with this the game is not able to run without being on the console's SSD.
Couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I believe so. I'll just take a look.
You're going to open now your Xbox account.
It's optimized for Xbox Series X. It's got 4K, 60 frames a second, and it's smart delivery. But it has got a next gen upgrade, but it's nothing.
Okay.
It's nothing amazing. It's still. It looks fantastic, but it's only the resolution and the frames. There isn't a lot else upgraded in it. I wouldn't say there's no sort of like gameplay enhancements, or I can tell. So
yeah, 60 frames is nice though.
It's one of those earlier sort of next. It's because it's cross-gen, one of the first cross-gen games. It's not. It's going to be like every generation where it's not going to take full advantage ever. It's just going to get a bit of a boost from it. But I can't complain. As long as they make it a bit more stable, then I'm happy with that for Valhalla, definitely.
And not give any more focus on microtransactions. We're good to go.
Yeah, well, too late for that. It's got a store and everything. You have to pay to change. They've added something in that was in Odyssey that you have to pay for now. I'm not fussed about it, and I can't remember what it's called. But I know a few people were kicking off about it the other week because it's a paid feature in Valhalla and it was free in past Assassin's Creed games. So.
Nice. Good to see.
But it has had 2 or 3 content updates for free now. It's just had its spring sort of Easter update for free, and the first paid DLC comes out April or May, something like that. It's on the horizon, and that's going to be set in Ireland and chasing druids or something like that. Sounds cool. I can't wait.
Nice.
What have we got after CD Projekt? So, going on from a company acquiring a new studio to basically
a company
getting rid of all this. Yeah, so Sony's Japan studio, which used to be quite a big studio abroad, it keeps
I think
hemorrhaging.
It was their first studio, right?
Something like that, but it keeps hemorrhaging staff. So they'd already announced it was sort of getting phased down and it was going to be sort of merged in with another company, the one that makes Astro's Playroom. But since then, tons of staff are leaving. So I apologise because I cannot pronounce these, so I'm butchering some poor people's names. Shunsuke Sato. He's leaving today, and he was the character designer and animator for Gravity Rush 1 and 2, and the art director on the sequel. Kentaro Motomura is leaving, and he was the senior producer on stuff like Bloodborne, Wild Arms, New Mina no Golf, Soul Sacrifice. Yatsuta Sakura, an executive producer, is leaving, and Gavin Moore, who's been at the Sony studios for 24 years, also revealed that he's leaving. So basically, everyone of sort of importance and name and recognition who's worked on the games they've worked on previously are basically jumping ship, and they are opening up new smaller studios. A couple of them have opened up indie studios to work on games similar to what they've done in the past, but it's odd that Sony's Japan studio is just basically being broken up and wholesaled away and got rid of, and when they're supposed to be the Japan focused sort of company, it's like Sony's just abandoning Japan at the moment, and it's really odd.
Yeah, there's a lot of just they're going through like a transition phase. Looks like, you know.
First, they bring out a console that takes up half a Japanese apartment, and now that and now they start and now they start affecting Japanese developers. Where
I,
will it stop?
I think they've developed it like it is, so when the PlayStation 5 stops being popular, they can sell it for building materials to build Japanese homes. So you only need two of them and one on top. You've got a little flat there for get a couple of the they're not like the paper doors on the front, and they'll sell them as cheap houses once they're finished.
Yeah, I don't understand that thing. When I look at it, I don't get it, man. like like I guess they want it to be like where you can replace those like plates with like designer plates, you know. I guess that's what they're gonna do.
No, they're
But
there so you can take them off and clean it. Have you not seen the video where they tell you how you have to clean it
is that why?
yourself? You have to take the sides off,
Okay.
unscrew it, and like
Yeah.
hoover it out and clean it.
Yeah.
It's got a dust
That's so
catch underneath the
weird,
cover.
man. When you have all those parts that you can take apart, like I wouldn't want if I had a kid, I wouldn't want him to even touch it. you know, like
Yeah, they
holy
said
crap.
developers are even having a hard time keeping the SSDs that have been approved for expansion. They're even
Mhm.
having a hard time keeping those cool in that plastic closed off bay that's there
Oh,
for the
boy.
expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy
There is that the reason you think that's the reason why you can't do it now? Like it's been shut off because they don't want you to touch it, right? You
Well,
can't.
the SSDs on the market, the ones that'll run at the same speed as the one in the PS5, which you have to match. These things normally come with huge heat sinks on them because they get so hot.
Yeah.
And the ones that are approved or that were approved had half of the heat sinks that the other ones had because you couldn't fit the ones with full heat sinks in that spot.
Wow. This is gonna be
So-
a
Do they-
problem.
Do they cost almost a console, just like the Xbox Series
Yeah.
SSD?
They'll
that
probably be
it is
slightly
available?
cheaper.
Apparently, aren't they increasing the
Yeah.
fan speed through software updates, allowing developers to change the fan speed? But yeah, like you said, it's just a random slot, not near the heat sink or the liquid metal cooling or the fan. It's not near anything that would cool it down. It's just a random slot in the side of the console.
Yeah, it's
Well,
very odd, and I think
that
they've said.
means I don't know.
Go on, what you were saying, Alucard.
That's like okay, then you have to be online though, right? All the time for these updates so they can change the fan speeds. So what if some people have bad internet or they don't have internet at all? You know, remember that whole thing with Xbox?
Wasn't that bad? Wasn't that a bad thing?
Yeah, that's what I thought. But
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
It's very odd,
You-
and I think that they've come into a few issues, which is why it's how many months are we since launch? 5, heading on
They're-
6 months
yeah.
now since launch, and they still haven't
Yes,
brought it
oh,
out.
problem there.
But
There's
yeah,
a problem there.
the
for sure.
plan from what they were saying is they were going to up the fan to keep it cooler inside, so it would keep the SSD the added external internal SSD cooler. But then that makes your console louder, which is then gonna. If I didn't have an internal SSD added and my fan was going crazy, I'd be really annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. This is they're having problems, man. Like there's definitely an issue there. You cannot expand your storage, and because they don't want you to destroy your PS5.
And at the
Like-
moment, you can't store games, PS5 games, on an external. Do you know, like on Xbox, you can you
Yeah.
can store your Xbox Series X and S games on an external and then copy them over if
Yeah.
you want to play them. You couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if they've changed that, but you couldn't actually store your PS5 games on anything but the internal.
Why?
You still can't.
You still can't. You ask Sony. There's no reason.
I don't get it.
It's- Apparently, it's
Am I
because they use a different UI and code, so that's why they have a problem with the back compat. So because of the
Hmm.
whole way that they can't just apply a patch like Xbox do, they can't transfer it using the system. There's some ridiculous reason that they can't transfer it to something that isn't formatted ready for the PS5, which meant that you could,
That's-
if they did it, you then couldn't saw anything else other than PS5 games on the external. The PS4 ones wouldn't then work.
It just, I don't get it,
Mhm.
man. Like, they released a console that was not ready.
Well, see what's
Yeah.
what's
Yeah, when it was for the problems that people were saying about the PS5, it gave me the impression that they decided to rush this release. What would you say
Oh,
about that?
I
they
would
were
say
ready
so.
to they were ready to release the PS5. Initially, they were going to release it fall of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're telling me is that during all of COVID, they had ample opportunity to take care of these issues in house before they launched a product, and they did nothing.
That's because they
Nope.
were too busy trying to overclock it to up its sort of power
Uh,
to match the Xbox. Because I think they finally found out how powerful the Xbox was going to be. So they were like, "Oh
Yeah,
crap,
because
we need to upgrade ours
yeah,
now."
for what I remember, the first idea of PS5 was to be 9 teraflops of power, and then after the 12 teraflops of power from the Series X was announced, they decided to say and make an update saying that now the PS5 power is going to be upscaled to 10 points something teraflops.
I should have seen that coming. They made the PS5 twice as powerful as the PS4 Pro. They should
yep.
have known Microsoft was going to make the Series X twice as powerful as the One X.
One X, exactly.
Yep. I remember that insider, I forgot his name, but he was like a famous like business insider, and he said that the PS4 Pro is like a half step, and then the PS5 will be another half step. So it went from 1.6 teraflops to 4, and then it's gonna go from 4 to like 8 or 9 or something like that. So he even said that years ago.
Yeah, it
But
wouldn't surprise me.
Would you say that then the PS5 is just a response for the Xbox Series X, just like the PS4 Pro was a response for the Xbox One X, and the PlayStation Classic was a response for the Nintendo Classic?
No, the PlayStation Classic was just a cash grab because
that was
the
awful.
the SNES Classic sold so well.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean because all the three of them, for what I'm looking at, it seems that it gives the impression for the customers that it was rushed.
Oh yeah,
They
it
all
was
Yeah.
were
definitely rushed. The
Oh
PlayStation
yeah.
when
Classic is terrible.
during development. Like
Unless you mod it, it's terrible.
Yeah, modding
that's what
it's actually works well, I guess. So
I've got
it's all
like
good.
500
like
games on mine. It's fantastic.
yeah, but nice. You had to hack it. So good
Yeah.
for you.
It's fine, doesn't bother me. It's a
How
nice little bit of kit when you modify it, but the core stuff was cheap and nasty. But hey, we'll move on because we could be on this topic forever.
Yep.
exactly
And we wanna all get on with our lives and stop everyone there.
play
We don't want to
something?
go for 3 hours again. I've just realised the video's ended again. I'm not on it today. I apologise, everyone.
Holy shit! What's going on?
I'm just so slow. Sorry.
Tired.
That's it.
Are
So
you
I'm
tired?
playing another one. There we go. No, I've set it up differently today, and it's not. I'm not. I've not been keeping track of it, so I should have been. So I apologise. But it's up now.
No worry, mate.
So one of our last bits of news is Elder Scrolls Online have announced they're bringing their next gen upgrade soon. So you're going to be able to experience Tamriel augmented through the power of the Xbox Series X and S and the PlayStation 5 with a console enhanced version of Elder Scrolls Online that brings next gen fidelity and performance completely free for all existing Elder Scrolls Online players. So what is it? It's basically with the next update on update 30 on June the 8th, the console versions will be getting a nice bit of a boost. So it says harnessing the horsepower of the new console tech to dramatically improve the game's visual fidelity and performance on those machines. And you get it access to it immediately upon purchasing, or if you're an existing customer, it's just an automatic upgrade. It's also sort of like smart delivered on Xbox. You don't have to worry about what you've got installed. So 60 frames per second. It was previously capped at 30, and it's now going to be 60 crisp 60 frames per second, it says. An increased draw distance, that's nearly doubled on new consoles, which sounds fucking fantastic, because it's already got a massive draw distance as it is, so can you imagine seeing even more. High resolution textures, updated anti-aliasing, I can never pronounce it. So smooth out the jagged edges of foliage, grass, and structures, and also sharpening these elements when viewed up close. Better reflections are going to be added to like water and such like that. Improved ambient occlusion with screen space global illumination, improved shadows, improved depth of field, and improved loading times, which should cut them in half, which is good because the current load times are quite long. And yeah, so basically that's coming to all the new consoles. It's going to be free, and you can currently they've put up a video showing it, and there's also like a slider where you can slide between both versions to see the difference at the same picture, and it looks really good. Now, Slayer, I know you've been playing a bit of Elder Scrolls a little bit, and I was talking to you about it.
A bit, he is level 500 and something.
No, like I think 400 champion level. Yeah.
Wow. Are you looking forward to it then?
Sorry, say that again.
I said, are you going to be looking forward to this next gen patch then?
Oh yeah, I'm actually. I think I said this already, but I'm kind of debating whether I should just wait until this comes out to play it again, because now it's like I don't know if I want to like miss playing the game on with these upgrades, because it's like I want to like I may if I play it now I'll get through like all the expansions and stuff, and then I'll be like, well, I kind of ran out of stuff to do, like because I like to do story stuff more than like the end game stuff. So
yeah, I'm like that with MMOs.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, definitely. I've just, like I said, I've told you the other day, I've just purchased the bundle that was on sale with all of the expansions except the newest one. Like the collector's editions of all of them are included, and I think it was like £23 or something like that. So I used some Microsoft points towards it and picked that up, because I've been wanting to get the rest of like the horses and the mounts and the costumes and the pets, and you can buy them in game, but I worked it out, the price in game is like £10 a bundle, so I've ended up saving like 50% plus getting all the DLC, like all the expansion content included, so can't go wrong at that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
My wife was running around the house dancing the other day because of this.
Oh wow.
She runs a guild in ESO, and so she plays several hours a day.
Nice.
Do you know what?
And so she's benefited a little bit from load times because of the SSD, but now she's getting a true next gen patch. She's very excited.
Yeah, I cannot wait. So I say it does take a bit of a load now and again, even on the Xbox Series X. So
yeah, it's 2 months from now, June 8th.
Cannot wait.
I'm curious. Is this improvements in reflections a way to say that they're going to implement ray tracing?
I don't know. It's a lot to put in to an MMO, putting ray tracing in, because imagine if all those people were there at the same time, it could bottom out, and plus they've got to make it so it'll run well on everything. I mean, but this is really setting it up to not, because like when you see an MMO and a new console comes out, you rarely see them give it a full overhaul. I mean, out of all the console MMOs that came out last gen, I think there's only 2 that have had sort of any sort of upgrade so far. One of them's this, and I think DC Universe Online got a small like next gen patch, but it's not very good. It's like it's just a 1x patch where it like improves the frame rate and the sort of resolution, but they didn't do anything sort of like at this scale in it. So this really sets it up for the future. It's like future-proofing it. Not that it was going to go anywhere, but now it's going to be like it's going to look next gen as well, and it looks beautiful as it is already.
I mean, they've
Yeah.
come so far with screen space reflections that all they really need to do is raise the resolution on the screen space reflections, and that's fine.
No, yeah, I know what you mean. I was just curious because a lot of these companies who are announcing their next gen patches, but instead of saying something like "we are bringing ray tracing," they are just saying "improved reflections." And probably it's because to implement ray tracing into a game code where it originally does not support ray tracing must be a really tough work. So maybe that's the case.
Ray tracing requires, unless the game runs on DirectX 12, ray tracing requires an engine overhaul.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they would need to change the whole engine so they could implement this. Yeah.
Right.
We'll see ray
Nice.
tracing on the Xbox Series XX.
I'm ready for the
The
Xbox Triple
This
X.
I want to see ray tracing
no.
on like Sea of Thieves. I don't know if they would do that, but that would be amazing.
It already
I'm
looks
waiting
beautiful, doesn't it?
for I'm waiting for the Xbox Series Z. Simple as that.
Well, the ray tracing looks great on Watch Dogs Legions.
Yes.
The shame is 30 frames. I know they're releasing a 60 frames patch soon, but I imagine the ray tracing will be turned off or toned down completely for that.
And you know that works so well on Watch Dogs Legions because they have a perfect balance between ray tracing and screen space reflections. It transitions so smoothly that you don't even realize the difference
Yeah.
of when screen space stops and the ray tracing stops.
That's great. There's some beauty. My brother winds me up all the time because I tell him about how beautiful the reflections and the puddles are. So every game we play at the moment, he's like, "Oh, there's no puddles on this game."
I wonder if they're gonna have ray tracing for like I don't know if it's gonna be most games or just like selective, you know. But
It's probably going to be
Xbox
selective
exclusive,
based on who's able to, what the developer wants to spend the time and effort doing and stuff like that. I'd assume we'd see it in a lot more first-party games going forward because they want to show the best of your console.
But, I think every Xbox first-party game should have it. They should.
Another interesting fact about Watch Dogs Legions, it is one of the few games that is using its complete DirectX 12 techniques. That game is built on and around DirectX 12, so that is what DirectX 12 is capable of when it blends ray tracing with screen space reflections.
Nice.
It's also like one of the only games where you can do a heist with a granny with a sort of like what is it, a taser. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of the best looking games I've seen on the Series X. Apart from the character models, really, they just stand out against how good everything else looks, especially the hair.
I feel like that's just because they've put that much variety into it, and it sort of generates that many. And the fact that you can play as them all, they had to. Unfortunately, it means it's limited in that aspect.
Yeah, I thought like the character models were kind of subpar for that game. Like when they showed like close-ups of them.
Yeah.
Does it really rain that much in Great Britain?
Yes.
It can do. Yeah. I've sunburned today though. It's been boiling the last 2 days. I've been laying a patio and I didn't realise how hot it was. I'm like sat here like a lobster.
We're supposed to be having thunderstorms this weekend though, so.
So, I mean, I've never been to England or Great Britain, so how good is, because it's supposed to, Watch Dogs Legions is supposed to like recreate the streets and the city and how close is that?
I wouldn't say it's very accurate in sort of the layout, but in the sort of looks and the monuments, it's spot on. And the feel looks amazing. Like you could definitely go to London and spot all the major landmarks in it, and they'd look pretty similar. Obviously, they've made them look a bit more futuristic and a bit more worn down and stuff. But I don't think the actual layout of the streets is correct.
No.
It's like thingy though. It's like Forza Horizon 4. like Edinburgh in that. Some of the streets are almost identical to streets in Edinburgh, but it's like a trimmed down version of it. So
Mhm.
So what you're saying is after 100 hours of Watch Dogs, I'll still find myself getting lost if I was actually there.
yes, try going on the
Probably.
underground. You'll always get
Probably.
lost.
I'd say
That's
it's a bit
cool.
like if you ever played The Crew. Well, that's like a smaller version of the USA, kind of like each city's a condensed version of it. That's exactly what they've done here. They've picked out the main areas and just got rid of a lot of the. Because like everyone thinks London is just all these amazing landmarks and huge buildings, but there's mile after mile of Subway, McDonald's, Boots, and then a coffee shop, and just the same shops repeated and repeated for street after street.
Yeah,
And then you
basically.
get Buckingham Palace around the corner.
Right, and we're gonna end out the show. It's been 2 hours now, so we're gonna round it out quickly with a quick just overview of the games with gold announcements for April. So we are getting the excitement that is from April the 1st to April the 30th. We're getting Vikings Wolves of Midgard. From April 16th to May 15th, we're getting Truck Racing Championship. April 1st to April 15th, we're getting Dark Void. And April 16th to April 30th, we're getting... I cannot read the thing, but something uprising. Looks like hand comps, but I don't think that's what it's called.
Hard cops. Hard
There we
cops
go.
of Red.
I'm blind,
Side
see.
Side notes: if you live in Brazil, you are going to get Darksiders again.
So
And-
what you're saying, April is crap month.
It's a bit crap. My son will love
I-
truck racing because he loves
Vikings
racing
is a
games and he loves trucks. But Vikings I've never played. Dark Void wasn't that great, but I'd play it again if it was. Especially now I don't need a disc. And the other one I've never played, so I've not got any of them at the moment. So it's a win for me because it's 4 extra games. But they're not. I wouldn't say they're fantastic tier, especially when you look at what PlayStation have announced for this month as well.
Yeah, if you
And
like
can-
Diablo, you'll like Vikings.
Oh, nice.
In comparison, what's PlayStation Plus getting?
So PlayStation Plus isn't getting as many games. They're only getting 3. So for PS4 and PS5, so they're backwards compatible, there's Days Gone and Zombie Army Dead War 4 or Zombie Army 4 Dead War.
Fire.
And then for the PS5, they're getting Oddworld Soulstorm when it comes out on release.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Oh.
I'm not a massive Oddworld fan anymore, but they're getting a brand new PS5 game on release included in their subscription, and we're getting Dark Void and Truck
Oh.
Racing.
To be fair though, we just got Outriders for free on day one.
True, but we're not getting it permanently. Whereas
Well, yeah.
if you've got PS Plus and you keep subscribing, Oddworld's yours forever. Whereas Outriders could technically be removed. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'd rather play Outriders over Oddworld at this moment in time. But when you look at both of these lineups, one of them is quite clearly better than the other and has been for many, many
Yeah.
months. It's like
Yeah.
like I said earlier in the podcast, PlayStation are putting their eggs into PS Plus because didn't they announce they're getting Final Fantasy 7 remake included in June
Mhm.
or May or something. So they've already bringing the
It was in
thunder.
March.
Was it March? They've already got it.
Yeah.
So, like I say, they're getting some really big games, and we're getting Dark Void. And I understand
I'm getting
Microsoft is
Darksiders,
focusing on Game
And I
Pass,
already have.
Yeah.
but there's still I'm sure we could have got something slightly better than that selection. And like someone every month
Yeah.
has to pick these out. Could they have not spoke to someone else? Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah. No, I get you. I also,
mean,
it kind of sucks that with PlayStation Plus, like you said, you have to be a subscriber. Like if you're not, you lose access to them, which is
Like,
But it's same with Xbox. If you stop subscribing to Xbox Live Gold, or you'll lose
Yep.
you'll lose these. The only ones you keep are the 360 ones, or the Xbox
really?
original.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yes, this is true.
Oh wow.
I'm
I
just,
thought once you downloaded them, that's it.
No, if they stay on your console, but until you resubscribe, you can't play them. Although I believe 360 and Xbox original games, you own them, whereas the Xbox One and Xbox Series X games, it's just like PS Plus. You're renting them basically forever.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, at least you get to keep the older ones.
Yeah, true. That's the one. That's the one
backwards
upside. And to be fair, I quite like every month. I mean, they're not banger games, but the games I haven't played in ages or I don't own anymore, I've never played. So they're good in that
Yeah.
sense. But
Mm-hmm.
overall,
why,
when you
though.
compare, they're clearly putting the money into Game Pass right now. But to be
Yeah,
fair, like I
that's
say,
the
2 of
focus.
those games I'm definitely going to play, and the other 2 I'm quite happy to add to my library. Do you know what I mean? I may play them eventually.
like, isn't there anyone in the Games with Gold team who would just say, who cares about truck racing? Isn't there anyone who thought about that?
Well, do you not
I don't
remember when
know.
we had that month, that like 6 months, where every month there was like the same game in it but a different number? Like we had like 3 months
I
of
live
like
in Brazil. I know how well
rally,
is.
rally, or something rally. There was like 3 on the trot, and
It
then
was
there
the
was that.
WRCs, wasn't it?
Yeah, WRC, and then there was like a year where every single month it was a different Assassin's Creed game. I mean, I've owned nearly all the Assassin's Creed games from 360 era just from Games with Gold nowadays, because they were just pumping them out every bloody month. It was like an Assassin's Creed bonanza. So I don't know. I find it odd. It's like they only talk to a handful of developers or something. There's so many good games out there. I mean, even not even really good games, but games people actually like. If they'd put like Blue Dragon or Lost Odyssey on here, we'd all be like, "Oh, fantastic!" Giving them a round of applause. But they're not. They're putting Dark Void.
No.
And don't tell me Dark Void's a
Truck
$14.99 game. It's like a 50p game nowadays. $129 worth of content. What a load of shit.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
That's about a
I believe
$20
that.
lineup. That is.
I'm not sure if it's changed, but I know one of the big differences used to be with Games of Gold, you downloaded all your games. If your gold ran out, you lost access, but as soon as you renewed it, you got access to all of them again. But PS Plus used to, if it lapsed, you lost access to everything, and it was only when you reactivate, you only got from that point forward. Has that changed?
I think it's changed now because I've previously downloaded stuff again, and I'm sure I was able to play it. I don't want to say that for definite though, but I do remember when it first launched PS Plus and it was paid. If you dropped your subscription, you lost everything beforehand. You had to keep subscribing to keep your games though, which was such a dirty tactic.
Yeah. I wonder if that's changed. But yeah, that's how it used to work, wasn't it? You had to keep subscribing, otherwise you lost everything, regardless.
So basically, what we can conclude with that is that this is all about a fight between Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. That's it.
That's where it
Because
seems to
forget
be.
about
That
everything else.
Xbox are focusing on Game Pass, and PlayStation are clearly focusing on PS Plus at this moment in time. I feel like this may change eventually if Xbox does ever sort of phase out Gold, but we'll see what happens in the future with that.
Like,
Go on then.
no worries. Okay, you can finish it.
I don't know. It's gone now. Don't worry.
Okay, I was just going to say that that's right. So
Couldn't hear anything you said.
Yeah, you potatoed out,
yeah,
my friend.
nice, great to hear.
Potato.
Great to hear
And
it.
to
Is
round
it
out the
better?
show, we'll end on a small positive. The spring sale has now started on Xbox Live, so if you want to save up to 75% or 90% on like 2 games and then like 50% on everything else, check it out. There are actually some decent games on there. I mean, I've pretty much bought everything I want from that sale now. But
I think I know what I'm gonna get.
What are you thinking?
I'm gonna get a ridiculous game you're not gonna believe. I'm gonna get Mechanics Simulator.
Oh yeah, it's on sale. All the DLC's on sale for it as well.
Yeah, dude, because it's gonna teach me how to fix cars and shit. I think they said it's pretty accurate. I was like, this is dope. I could build like a fucking Dodge Charger. Like, fuck yeah.
I tell you what I noticed. There's a beta for lawnmower simulator on the Xbox Insiders app at the moment. I'm tempted just to download it and try it.
That's funny. I've
But-
never bought a simulator before, so this is gonna be
I'm
interesting.
never really into it, like I say, but I'll play them on Gamepass because it's something funny. I really want to play like a bus simulator or train simulator and just see what you actually do in it. I'd
The
just be
bus
trying to run
simulator
people
seems
over.
ridiculous. Like I saw people playing it. It's just like so slow and boring, but it looks hilarious because people getting off your bus and like people, I guess, people like are like mean to you and stuff like that.
I don't get it. Like I went to my cousin's house once and I stopped there when I was really young, and he had like Windows Flight Simulator from years ago, like Microsoft Flight Simulator, and he set this plane off and he sat watching it for about 6 hours, and he wasn't even doing it. He had it on autopilot for most of it after he took off to land, but he kept checking on it and he took it right seriously. I'm like, and this is back when it were like squares. It didn't look good. Like 6 hours he watched it, just not doing anything, just like clicking an odd button here and there on this little computer screen dashboard, and then he landed it and that was it, and he was really happy with himself. And I'm like, that ain't for me. I'd be like trying. I used to have one with a stick, and I could never fly it off the blum. I had the helicopter one, and it just flipped upside down and crashed into the building. I was like, Jesus Christ, terrible at it.
Yeah, I want to get the Microsoft Simulator, the new one. I can't wait till it comes out for
It does look
Xbox Series
beautiful.
X.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely play it just to find my house and like land on it.
I want to crash into a pyramid. That's what I want to do.
I do have small dreams, but they are my dreams.
Those are dreams.
But yeah, so thank you to everyone who's listened today, especially to all the viewers that have stayed from start to finish. Big thanks to all you guys for joining us. So where can they all find you? So Alucard, where can people find you if they want to keep in touch?
Mostly just on Xbox Live, so false Alucard 628, and Twitter it's just Alucard on Twitter.
What about you,
basically, so.
Fabio?
Well, you people can find me on Xbox, both on Lizard 8 with a capital B and a capital L, and you can find me on Twitter as FBO Amorim 97, as well as every Saturday here on the podcast.
What about you, KY Bob?
KY Bob everywhere. Xbox, Twitter, PlayStation. I have a YouTube channel that will be the home of the Xbox Series podcast at the end of this month. And
They grew
You
up
know
so
what?
fast.
follow me on Xbox and we'll compete in Gamerscore. Have a good time.
What about you, Slayer?
Yeah, I'm pretty much Slayer exclusive everywhere. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation. Although I'm not really gonna be on my PlayStation much until I get a PS5, whenever that'll happen. But yeah, just find me everywhere. Pretty much just Slayer exclusive.
And Gina, what about you?
Yeah, I'm the Jinner on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. I'm the Jinner Gaming now, I think.
Yep, the
So
Gina
you guys
Gaming.
helped me change that.
You think? You don't
Yeah.
remember?
I haven't been on it for a few days, you know.
No worries, no worries.
And yeah, I do a lot of live streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook gaming. Normally 5 till 7 a.m. GMT. I'm an early bird. And that's me.
Fantastic.
What about
And
you, Ash?
you can find me on Twitter at Z23Ash. You can add me on Xbox at I'm a Ghostbuster with a 0 instead of the O, as you can see on screen. And then, obviously, in general, you can find us on the Xbox Live Party Podcast channels, which is just XBL Party Podcast, and that's on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, OnlyFans. I don't know what other sort of platforms we could be on. Patreon, we're not on any of them really. The ones on screen are what we're on. And give us a like, a subscribe, a follow. And yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll be back probably next Saturday as always, 8 p.m. UK time. Don't forget that the clocks have changed in the UK. I think that's thrown a few people off this week because a few people joined a bit late. The UK, we've gone forward an hour. So
Just one thing before finishing. Huge shout out to Sensei. Thank you so much for your support, mate.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Thank you for always turning up and joining in. He does have his own podcast where he does it himself, Sensei's Thoughts. So have a look for that because I have listened to the last one.
We need to invite him sometime to
Yeah,
record with us.
we will start doing special guests again soon, but obviously because we've added all these fancy new people that have joined us, we've sort of had a break from sort of guests, but we will be doing guests soon. Not only do we do the podcast every Saturday from 8 p.m, we also stream quite a lot, normally on Tuesdays and other days during the week, and that's varying time. So just give us a follow on Twitch to find that. And then, like I say, this will go live on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, and all of your podcasting areas that you may find us, like Google Podcasts and stuff, within the next couple of days. And other than that, thank you very, very much for joining us. Can't believe we're at 10 episodes now. Thank you guys for joining. It's always great to have a nice chat with you guys on a Saturday. And I think we're going to play some games within the next hour or so. So there's a good chance we'll end up streaming that as well. So just keep your notifications on. And if we end up having a game, you'll get the notification. And one last thing, we did a stream for Elder Scrolls Online the other week with drops. We're able to do that again this weekend, so probably one day over the weekend I'll do another hour or two of Elder Scrolls Online so you can get your free crate as well in game. So keep an eye out for that if you want some freebies. And that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you guys, and we'll see you all next week.
Good time.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Wow.
Bye, everybody.